that you would like to bring up that I haven't in regards to the content that we've brought up so far? Is there anything I've missed, or anything that the Historical Enquiries team have put in black and white which you know is incorrect?
I think, Chris, these reports were actually brought out as a smokescreen for anybody obviously was looking for closure into the murders of loved ones. Obviously, when I first contacted the Historical Enquiries team, the usual treated like a lord, we'll be doing this, explain a fair bit, obviously, the way the report is made up. The biggest majority of the report, obviously, that our family received, I can online, and more or less get the biggest majority of information free online. So somebody's actually probably been sitting there getting 30 grand a year to comply something that's actually in the public domain. Obviously, certain names. I mean, I can't sort of understand. I know, obviously, in Northern Ireland, back through the Troubles, the place was in turmoil. To me, the British security forces were playing a big part in this. My personal opinion with this report, when I turned around and obviously read it, it got launched in my living room about 2 or 3 times. You're turning around, somebody's actually giving you something, and it's like a sort of, is it probably insulting your intelligence when you're actually reading certain bits of the report. I turned around and says to the fella that obviously made up this report, I says, you'll probably end up with only certain amounts of information. No, I get what I want, he says. That was his words to me. I get what I want. Well, he's obviously not got much. I actually tried to contact this fella when he contacted me asking if I had any reservations in the report, which I contacted him twice by email. Never ever heard from the guy again. So I take it he must have obviously got his pension by now.
So they're just patronising you. We'll get you. We will get to the bottom of this. We'll do this. We'll do that. And they don't do it. And when you contact them asking them why they haven't, he's not even getting the courtesy, not even letting you know that he's received it.
That's exactly right. You're correct, 150%. I mean, I've actually I was contacted for an MP in Northern Ireland if I can ever be of any help. So I contacted him. He turned around and told me to forward the emails to him. Never heard back from him either. In fact, I think he got up with a brick or doing shops. You know what I mean? So he's obviously taking his 80 grand. His missus is taking her 80 grand, and it's one of the ones. Good luck to the loyalist community.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things, David, for yourself. The coroner's verdict. You've got a bit to say on that.
Well, to find 3 boys with 6 bullets between them, penetrated into their head, and then you leave it as an open verdict. That's bizarre. To me, it's blatant murder. Blatant murder.
Yeah, so 6 bullets in total, and used. That is what killed the 3 boys. One of them being your cousin. And the coroner's verdict is it's an open verdict.
An open verdict. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You're even turning around, Chris, and at the time, this shows you how bad it was there. A fella from Northern Ireland had actually says to me, when you go into Tennant Street Police Office, you need to take a plumber with you. The amount of leaks that's in the place. At first I didn't even like the guy. I says, a plumber? I thought obviously they're leaking their toilets or something, but obviously then I realised obviously that the guy was talking about, there was leaks after leaks after leaks. Now when the Met ended up investigated this, there was a surveillance put up on a certain address in the Ardoyne area, and the guys for the Met were tipped off with somebody in Northern Ireland. You better watch what you're doing, there's leaks here. They pulled the observation out, but they moved it to a different part, obviously, of the area to watch the same place. So it shows you that people within that establishment were leaking information to the enemy. That's the only way I would kind of put them. I mean, here's an example with Docherty. I mean, the Met police officers were on the verge of meeting arrests, namely Docherty was getting picked up. He ended up escaping from a prison, and his last known whereabouts was Dundalk. That was told to me with the guy that handed me the report.
And this is Anthony Dutch Doherty.
That's the one. Anthony
this is
Dutch
the guy
Doherty.
who said to the authorities. So this is the same guy. Just for the just kind of for the convenience of the listeners, David. Anthony Dutch Doherty that David's referring to just now. If you remember back, this is the same guy who was arrested November 1971, and records stated that he made admissions about his involvement in the murders of the 3 soldiers and the murders of the 2 officers, Detective Inspector Patterson and Constable Buckley, and he also named his accomplices as well. So this is the same chap.
Aye, Docherty turned around and says, at the time, I was there. I didn't murder him, but I was part of it. That was his admission.
I mean, can I be really cynical here, gentlemen, and just say, we've had 3 soldiers, 3 serving soldiers, 2 police officers that were getting told at the moment. That's 5 people. Heinously, in the most horrific circumstances their lives were taken, and they were working for Queen and Country. And yet, an asylum seeker, and I'm not just picking them, or prisoners or something like that, if the least thing happens to them, there's a hullabaloo, there's courts inquiries, there's all sorts of, and then there's compensation given out at the end of it. Yet we've now got 3 soldiers with 6 bullets between them, and an open verdict is given. I mean, is there a pattern developing here? That you're working for the community, and you're working for the Queen and Country, and you're just less than the shit in the sole of their shoe. Yet, any Tom, Dick or Abdul coming into the country, if they're not treated right when they're arrested, they get all sorts of treatment given to them.
Ian, we've got...
Am I being too cynical here?
I think I'll let the family answer this, mate, because when you're saying this here, all you've got in the hub is nodding heads and people firmly agreeing with you. I'm sure Paul's choking to say something to you. Paul, take it away, mate.
Well, Ian, I know exactly what you're saying about these refugees and things like that, but I think you'll find that you may even be wrong there, because if you look at what happened with drummer Lee Rigby down south.
Yes.
Well, the government knew everything about these guys who done that as well, and they were quite happy for them to go and do whatever they wanted and spread their evil vile, just like they did with these Republicans in 71. You tend to find that these people are working for the government. That's why they have cosy wee houses in America and the South of Ireland now.
I mean, you're talking about the two guys with drummer Lee Rigby. Just a few months ago, one of them was trying to claim compensation because he had a tooth knocked out or something. I mean, it is ludicrous. It's a parody. It really is a parody, what's happening in this country. And I wasn't able to go to asylum seekers. I could have a go at a load of sort of people, but it just seems to be, if you're trying to do good, work for your country, you're treated worse than the shit in the sole of their shoe.
Yeah,
Chris, I'm getting told here that I'm echoing, and in fact, somebody's just sent me a text. It sounds as though I'm in the toilet. I mean, how does that sound to you? Is it echoey? Because
it depends what you were eating there.
Position. Sorry?
To be fair, Ian, sadly, tonight our producer can't be here in our makeshift studio at the hub tonight. So, in regards to the echo and things that you might be hearing, that's just something that I'll need to try and tweak my end to try and cut it out for you. It could be due to the.
Will I hang up and try and call you back? See if we get
no, not at all. No, we can try and get this fixed.
The echo's away now.
No, that's absolutely fine, mate. We'll iron it out. It's to put you in the picture, folks, when you are listening, we've plugged in a kind of a desk microphone so we can conduct the interview with Paul and David here at the PO Community Hub. That's why you might be hearing a bit of an echo when Ian's talking just now, but hopefully we can grin and bear it for the purpose of the next 20 minutes, half an hour talking. I know David, that you had said to me earlier on when we were talking, you'd mentioned a little bit about Sean Meehan.
Well, Sean Meehan was actually the brother of Martin Meehan. The Turnman, obviously, he was obviously, I don't even think he was deemed as a suspect at that point, but the Sean Meehan, he was a bit of a nasty piece of work. It's the same Ferdoyne, involved with the Provost. He ended up an informer and was frittered out of the north of Ireland to the south of Ireland and handed over to the Irish Special Branch. He ended up in America under an assumed name, and as I say, he was one of a major player back in 71. But as I say, obviously he got a new passport and a free ticket out the road, no?
Yeah, I mean, David, I used a little, I used a quote that you're renowned for using when you're describing the events which took place on 10th of March 1971, where you say that, like Christ, they were... Yeah, I'll let you say it, David, 'cause it's your thing.
Well, like Christ, he says, like Christ, these boys were betrayed in a town and taken to a hillside outside that town, where they were murdered by cowards. They were cowards then, and they're cowards now. What our family had been through all the years with that boy being murdered. Can't comprehend what the McCaigs went through. They lost 2 boys. You know what I mean? These boys, it doesn't matter how many times they smash a memorial up, try to demean us, try and airbrush these atrocity or any other atrocities for their dark history. History's written, can't change it. It's there. We're not going away.
Yeah, I mean, you're quite right. I mean, David and Paul, I'm going to open it to you. Do you feel more angered now than what you have done previously? Now that you see that there's millions and millions of pounds getting spent every other day, reopening inquiries into the British soldiers that took part in different operations in Northern Ireland, and you see other families from a Republican background getting money spent on them from the British forces and the British intelligence agencies looking at their deaths or the deaths of their family members. Does it not anger you more that you're from your family, from what I know, they've got a long history of serving in the British forces up until the 1971 event, which changed things. But my point is, do you feel more angered now than ever that you see Republicans getting all this money thrown at them, all these different inquiries opened up, and this witch hunt for loyalists and the witch hunt for the British soldiers? Does that? What have you got to say on that, Paul? I'll start with yourself, mate.
Well, Chris, it's quite simple. We never asked for money. We didn't go running about like they scumbags shouting, "Gee's money, gee's money." We got hurt with a stupid wee medal. If I'm right, that's what we got, a bit of ribbon, a wee bit of metal, and thanks very much for your sacrifice. You touched on there about our family's military history. Without a doubt, we've got members of our family mention the dispatches through the wars and things like that. The appeasement to the Republicans and the amount of money that they put out. I mean, look at that shrine they're talking about at the H blocks and different things like that. It's an absolute joke. It's a disgrace. I mean, these people are running about shouting about poor me, poor me. I think maybe that's the problem with our community. My family would never have asked for nothing. We never have. But maybe it's about time that we stood up and says, no, we demand and we want. Maybe that is what's wrong with our community. We've just accepted it for too long. So now it's very, very easy for people now to just come point fingers and say, let's just arrest all these soldiers for what happened at Bloody Sunday. Oh, well, let's give all these poor guys that had to go to the H block a big shrine in memory of them. They were murderers. They were cowards. Yet we're the European Union and everybody else wants to keep throwing money at them. It's a joke. We don't want the money. All we want is somebody to stand up and say, justice. We know about that. We want justice. That's it. Justice. Keep your money.
Now I'm going to, now that I'm conducting this interview, you guys, I've got a lot of time here to look at the lobby. Now I'm going to put out to you here. We've got Johnny in the lobby, and Johnny, I know you've been participating with with your comments in the lobby all evening. I thank you for that.